Thank you, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Ministers, the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, and the people of Fiji who may be listening in or watching us on live stream or wireless this morning. Yan Runaka, and a very good morning to you also. Firstly, may I begin by just congratulating the independent state of Papua New Guinea on their 50th anniversary, sir. I was honored to represent the Honorable Prime Minister at the celebrations, and we join in congratulating them on achieving such a milestone event. In terms of, secondly, Honorable Speaker, I would just like to pay tribute to a son of Fiji who was called to rest recently, Honorable Speaker. And I talk about the late Permanent Secretary for Rural Development, my Mataki and fellow Tailevu clansman, Permanent Secretary Soa Talamembua. So from the province of Tailevu, we had very high hopes for Mr. Talamembua, not only as a civil servant, sir, but perhaps future leadership in our country. Without doubt, he was one of the high-performing permanent secretaries in our government, and his grounding in finance set him up very well in his service of our country. The province of Tailevu will miss him, and our nation is poorer for his passing. I know the Honorable Minister Nditoka will miss him sorely as well. Our deepest condolences to the Talamembua family and the Manoa Kamikamica on his untimely passing, and may his soul rest in peace. His soul has served his country well. Honorable Speaker, I rise today to update this House and the people of Fiji on the work undertaken in the Ministry of Communications to ensure the ICT and telecommunications environment will continue to be an enabling and business conducive and secure environment. A monumental significant step was taken with the launching of the National Digital Strategy 2025 to 2030. This is a first for Fiji, Honorable Speaker, and acknowledges our journey as a nation and our vision for the next 5 years. With this, we are taking steps to strengthen our laws and ensure that just as we have these new and emerging digital technologies, our laws need to be agile to address the challenges on the horizon. These include the review of the Telecommunications Act, Online Safety Act, Cybercrime Act, developing our privacy and personal data protection laws, and to ensure that these have the appropriate regulatory and enforcement provisions, including stronger penalties for non-compliance with these laws, Honorable Speaker. In other words, we need laws with teeth. Today, I will provide an update on the work undertaken for our Telecommunications Act and Online Safety Act. I will also report on the progress made with two important national task forces, the National Task Force to Address Pornography and the Anti-Scam Task Force. On strengthening the Telecommunications Act of 2008, Honorable Speaker. The Telecommunications Act of 2008 is the principal law governing our telecommunications sector. It provides licensing of service providers, the management of spectrum, interconnection between operators, universal service access, tariff regulation, infrastructure development, consumer protection, and the establishment of the Telecommunications Authority of Fiji, or TAF, as the sector regulator. The Telecommunications Act has provided a solid foundation for the development of our telecommunications sector. However, over the past 15 years, the global telecommunications environment has transformed dramatically. While this framework has served Fiji well, It was designed for a different era of telecommunications. It focused on traditional voice and data services, and since then, the breadth of technologies and challenges we face today has evolved. As part of the law reform process, we intend to focus on several key areas arising rapidly from this evolving digital landscape. These include mitigating risks and putting in place appropriate regulatory measures regarding emerging technologies such as 5G, AI, over-the-top services, or OTT services, satellite infrastructure, and submarine cables. To address these would create further certainties for investors, enable regulators to respond effectively in these new and emerging areas, and provide consumers with sufficient safeguards in the digital age. Honorable Speaker, we have partnered with the International Telecommunications Union, or ITU, which is the United Nations Specialized Agency for ICT and is only one of 3 global standard-setting organizations. This breadth of expertise ensures that Fiji's review will not only address key areas, but also align it with global standards in areas such as emerging technologies, digital broadcasting, and consumer protection. We will embark on an extensive program of activities that will continue throughout this financial year. This will include a comprehensive review of the Telecommunications Act and regulations and propose amendments to make it more modern. We will engage closely with stakeholders, service providers, consumer groups and industry associations and civil society and government through structured consultations. At the same time, we will consider other important areas of responsibilities of service providers in cross-border criminal investigations, the blocking, filtering, and takedown of illegal internet content, and finally, we will benchmark Fiji's revised framework against international standards and comparable jurisdictions to ensure it meets global best practice. Honorable Speaker, the Online Safety Act was introduced in 2018. At that time, it was a landmark piece of legislation introduced in direct response to emerging issues such as cyberbullying and image-based abuse. Since then, we have witnessed the rapid technological advancement, particularly in online platforms. These have brought social benefits and however, also avenues for misuse, and reinforces the urgent need for a responsive, relevant, and effective legislative framework. Also, the Act enacted in 2018 requires a biannual review. None has occurred as yet. In recognition of this gap, the government has also prioritized the review of the Online Safety Act. The Online Safety Commission is already working in close collaboration with the Fiji Law Reform Commission, the AG's office, and the ministry to prepare for this important process, which will include national comprehensive consultations. Honorable Speaker, sir, the areas that are being considered subject to the consultation outcomes include strengthening definitions, introducing new categories of offences, expanding regulatory powers and safeguards, stronger penalties for non-compliance with the law, and broadening the scope of online harms covered under the law. The review and its amendments will ensure that the law continues to safeguard our citizens, especially the most vulnerable, against the evolving challenges of online activity. The government remains committed to ensuring that our laws keep pace with the realities of the digital age, including also combating misinformation and disinformation. Honorable Speaker, sir, I would now like to shift to the work being done by the National Task Force to address pornography. From the early stages of our work, it became clear that the most urgent priority in this space is the protection of our children in online spaces. The 3 working groups have been meeting, and the members have been progressing in areas of their work. For example, the police have formed an online child sexual exploitation and abuse unit, and we are working together to build the necessary capacity and tools. Also, through the support of the Australian government, UNICEF has been undertaking a comprehensive mapping study on the efforts to combat online child sexual exploitation and abuse material, or CSAM, in Fiji. Throughout the course of the mapping study, the UNICEF team has engaged extensively with stakeholders, many of whom are already members of the task force, to ensure that the findings provide an accurate and comprehensive picture of the efforts. The study is being reviewed and the task force will reconvene to carefully consider its findings and determine the most effective way forward in addressing this deeply concerning issue. There will also be a study mission to Australia to see how they are addressing this issue, as they have undertaken some significant legal reforms in these areas. Disturbingly, materials depicting sexual abuse of children are on the rise. I wish to emphasize, Honourable Speaker, the internationally recognized term is child sexual exploitation and abuse material, or CSAM, and not child pornography. And I request that we adopt this terminology as the term child pornography minimizes the focus on its long-lasting impact on our children, as it focuses on the use of pornographic material. This is also a key consideration in our law reform work. Honourable Speaker, we are closely following the Australian ban on social media use for children under the age of 16. Currently, most platforms require users to be 13. We acknowledge that having this implemented properly could be another effective layer in safeguarding our children from inappropriate content. At the same time, we recognize the significant challenges which include technology required to accurately verify a user's age and its use on our children, and legal frameworks including regulatory measures for non-compliance, amongst others. Australia's law requiring service providers not to register or maintain accounts of the users under 16 begins in December, and a study mission to Australia, tentatively next year, will help us understand the framework before considering its application in Fiji. On the Anti-Scam Task Force, Honourable Speaker, regarding the work of the Anti-Scam Task Force, with every potential scam that one of the task force members comes across, this is very quickly sent to all members for their urgent action in providing awareness to their audiences. This prompt coordination method is to mitigate the impact of scams. The Anti-Scam Task Force has uncovered significant gaps in laws which currently prevent authorities from taking immediate action unless a victim comes forward to report the crime. In response, a key part of the task force mandate is a review to progress to carefully examine these legislative gaps and challenges and to provide a roadmap to address it. Last year, we also held our first National Scam Awareness Week, which was attended by over 200 people. One of the highlights was the youth debate, which brought forward insightful and engaging perspectives. Building on that success, we are proud to host the National Scam Awareness Week again this year under the theme Digital Smarts for a Scam-Free Fiji. Honourable Speaker, we are also exploring MOUs, or Memorandums of Understanding, with Australia and Malaysia, drawing on their expertise as we undertake the law reforms and other initiatives aimed at strengthening and modernizing our ICT and communication sector. Equally important, partnerships that we are encouraging are between our Online Safety Commission and the E-Safety Commission of Australia, and also between TAF, or Telecommunications Authority of Fiji, and the Australian Communications Media Authority, or ACMA. On cybersecurity, Honourable Speaker, please allow me to make some important updates in terms of our cybersecurity efforts. The ministry that I am responsible for holds this as a very critical area. And in October, being recognized as the Cyber Security Awareness Month, I believe it is timely to share the progress we are making. I will also be responding on a question today where I share an update on important regional cybersecurity events that Fiji hosted, and another question on Friday regarding cybercrime. As earlier updated, Fiji's computer emergency response team has been established and is making significant progress. Fiji's as a central coordination hub during nationally significant cyber events, Fiji's search role will be to coordinate efforts in response and thereby ensuring swift action, providing cybersecurity advisory services, and liaising with CERTs of other countries globally. Within 2 months of its establishment, Fiji CERT has delivered comprehensive guidelines for organizations to handle cyber incidents, conduct proactive threat hunting, and successfully supported organizations in mitigating potential cyber threats, thereby reinforcing our overall national cybersecurity posture. We are also completing the final round of validation for the National Cybersecurity and Resilience Strategy for the next 5 years, which we expect to table in Cabinet shortly. This strategy will provide Fiji with a coordinated roadmap to strengthen our cybersecurity posture and improve resilience against threats and safeguard our digital future. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I wish to reaffirm the coalition government's unwavering commitment to ensuring that our laws remain modern, responsive, and capable of addressing the key challenges faced by our people and businesses. We stand ready to continue the important work we are doing with renewed determination, greater collaboration, and strengthened resolve. May God bless you, Honorable Speaker, sir. May God bless this august House, and may God bless the Republic of Fiji.